Hello and welcome again to Battle Ready. This time we thought in the past couple of weeks, we had the opportunity to share Warhammer with some people, and it went really, really well. They're very excited about it, and we thought we'd just sort of share some tips and tricks. One thing that was helpful is I've been into playing board games for a long, long time. Lots and lots of board games. Really enjoy them. A lot of hobby games. And when you tell people, hey, let's all get together and play a board game, a lot of times eyes glaze over. So I've done a lot of evangelizing for board games over the past decade plus. And that was good because we had the opportunity to teach a little bit of Warhammer, and some of those same skills came into play. So Drake, do you want to tell us what happened?
We played two small rounds, 750
Well, first, who'd you play with?
The Dwellies.
So there's friends of ours that we know, they have kids about Drake's age. And so they saw us playing with the toys one time, our little plastic soldier toy man.
Yay.
And they thought it was really cool looking, which it is, and wanted to come and check out and see what it's about. So we had them over on a day specifically to teach them a little Warhammer. And so the two oldest boys, the one about Drake's age and the one, maybe 2 years younger?
Yeah.
Probably, right around there. They were the ones that were the most interested and wanted to actually play the game of Warhammer. So Drake took up one army. What did we start with?
Cool Boys and Stormcast. Not sure if it was straight Dominion or not.
It was mostly Dominion. We took out Indrasta, and we might have taken out the Hobgrots.
I think we took out the Hobgrots.
But the points, it was about 600-ish points on either side. So the points were relatively even, although to be fair, I wasn't super tight with the points. I didn't really matter for a learning game. But I wanted the forces to be roughly even. So we started off with Stormcast and Cruel Boys. Who did you play?
I played the Cool Boys.
Who did they play?
Stormcast.
All right. And what did I do?
Helped.
Right. So that's, I think, the first thing that really helped is I didn't play. So I wasn't tempted to smash new people and prove how awesome I was to win. Not that I would do that anyway, hopefully. But this way, I was sort of the referee, I guess you could call it, right? I wasn't in the game, but I was sort of helping out and teaching them things. The other thing that we did that really helped is we simplified the game. Not only did we use a low point count, because we didn't want them playing a 2,000 point game.
That would have taken forever.
Would have taken forever.
They didn't have enough time.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have been a good experience. So we went with a smaller game, but also we didn't use hardly any
rules.
Battle traits.
Yeah.
We used the Dominion ones. Mm-hmm. So exploding Stormcast and
venom encrusted weapons.
Venom weapons. But we didn't even have the new Auric Warclans book at the time.
Yeah.
So we just went without that.
We just played a minor Warclan.
Exactly, and we didn't have any storm hosts or anything like that from the old book. We just played. And then it was all pretty much War Scroll based.
Yes.
And since there was only, half dozen units on either side, the War Scrolls were mostly pretty easy to understand. Mm-hmm. I guess they had sequiturs. I think we put sequiturs in for them.
Yes, we put in 3 units of 5. I think.
3 units of 5 sequiturs? Well, anyway, they did have sequiturs.
Yes.
And then so what I was there to do mostly was to remind them about abilities. So each combat phase, I'd said, all right, do you want to channel their weapons or their shields? And then the next time something came up, I'd say, oh, do you want to do this? And the other thing that made that really good was we didn't have to explain the whole game ahead of time.
Yeah.
We didn't have any monsters, but we didn't have to go through heroic actions and have them learn what all the different ones were and then make a new decision every time. No, each time we just rolled for a command point.
Yeah.
Command point abilities, when they came up about, re-rolling a charge or running 6 or something like that, I would just say, hey, you can spend one of your points. This is what you can spend command points on. You can spend one of your points on this. Do you want to? That was great because we didn't have to explain everything in advance. and have a big rules teach, they could just jump right into the game. And then as stuff came up, they got to play with it. What else did we do that was different from a normal game?
We did not use all the War Scrolls cards or War Scrolls abilities.
Well, we used most of them though.
Yeah, but
I don't think there was anything we didn't use.
no, I think we didn't use the Annihilators thing. They were dropped on the ground. They stayed on the ground. The Annihilators.
Yeah, they didn't. We didn't do the come from the heavens thing, so the Annihilators didn't get to do that.
Yeah. Did I ever cast my body?
Did we do? We didn't do battle tactics, right?
Yeah, we did not do battle tactics.
We didn't do battle tactics.
That many heroic actions.
Did we have? Did we even do objectives?
Yeah, we did objectives.
We did objectives. Okay, so we did objectives
because that's a base part of the game. Objectives.
Yeah, in matched play, but not in narrative.
That often.
So yeah, but we simplified it a lot. And at the end of the game, what do you think? They have fun?
Yes.
Who won?
The Dwellers both times.
Well, first, we'll just talk about the first game first. Mm-hmm. They won, and it was a pretty close game. It was really good. Now, they had me helping them, not just with remembering rules, but also with some tactical things. And truth be told, I think it was good that they won. I wanted them to have a very positive experience with the game. And they did. And so after the game, we had sort of allotted time for a game. It went a little bit quicker than we thought. And then their dad was there, and their dad was talking, and they were saying, "Oh, I don't know if we have to leave yet," or this sort of thing. And the kids, they wanted to play again. Mm-hmm. They wanted more playing. So we ended up deciding to play again. This time, Drake chose.
Despite my personal army.
And they went with the Night Haunt.
I was decimated.
Decimated.
They made their 6 roll almost every single time.
Not just the 6 roll, they made their save because they were ethereal. So the trolls are one of the things that make them so good are all the rend. And so they can take your normally 4-up save, and now you're at a 6-up, and each one you fail is 3 damage. But with the Night Haunt,
they just
that's it. And whatever. They were rolling hot. They were rolling hot.
For how cold they are.
For the chill of death, they rolled hot.
So cold.
But that was good too because they got another great experience. And truth be told, we didn't have all that much time for the game, so that game also ended pretty quickly, and we got 2 games in. And sometimes, especially when I introduce a board game or something like that, and people say, "Oh, that was really fun," sometimes it can be hard to tell if they're being nice and just saying that, or if they really did enjoy it. But I know they really enjoyed it because I saw them, the following week just around. And the first thing they said is, when can we come over to do that again? I said, well, you got to talk to your dad. But that just shows how interested they were. So having taught Warhammer, what were the highlights and lowlights? What do you think would help people teach it and get their friends excited? And what do you think are things to avoid?
Something to avoid is do not go into every single aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Shy away from using battle tactics and don't use complex, crazy strategies when you're teaching someone new. For sure.
You want to... Simple is the name of the game because Warhammer is not simple. It's not simple. It's not a simple game. So when you're teaching it, if you try to go into everything, people are just going to be overwhelmed. I mean, if somebody's an experienced war gamer or even an experienced board gamer who plays heavy board games, you might be able to handle more of it. Mm-hmm. But for most people, especially, people Drake's age that are just playing these kinds of games for the first time, or if you've got a friend that's a non-gamer, but they see all the cool stuff you're painting and they think, hey, I want to do some of that. Start simple.
Yes.
Yeah. Cut out all that. You don't need grand strategies. You don't need battle tactics.
You don't need monstrous actions.
You don't need unique artifacts for every character, unique command traits for your general.
Also probably not the smartest idea to start with the Path to Glory.
Well, Path to Glory might not be so bad.
Except for the fact that...
Because you start small, right? You get to start with a small group.
Except for the fact, all that writing down, trying to remember it all.
Well, that's why you write it down.
Yes, but...
I don't think Path to Glory would be a bad way to start.
I just think you should do match play. That way you don't have to jump directly into the narrative.
I don't know, narrative's sort of fun. But, I mean, I guess it depends on the person, right? If the person wants to play games against equal forces and really get a good competitive game out of it, then definitely you want to start them with matched play. If they just want to tell a story, go with narrative.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What else do you think was a key to the success?
Don't go hard on them.
And I was real proud of you for doing that, by the way, because I know you've played 50-something games now. You could have smashed them if you wanted to smash.
Yes.
And you played very fairly.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that you didn't go easy on them like you were just giving them things, but you also didn't smash as hard as you could.
Yes. Because I definitely could have smashed harder.
Yeah. So that was really good. Helped create a positive experience. And then I think one of the things that was actually pretty helpful is having the referee there to sort of guide them through a lot of things. I also got to really establish the narrative. So when somebody made a big roll and killed somebody, we would say, oh, or I would say, oh, you raise up your hammer to his ear and smite the orc. Or when the Stormcast died, we would say, oh, the Stormcast finally succumbs from the Gut Ripper, but he explodes in blinding light, and then we'd roll the dice. So keeping that story alive really, I think, helps, because otherwise it's, at some level, really, you're just pushing nickels around and rolling dice. So being able to craft that narrative and keep everybody engaged in the story, that was also pretty helpful.
Honestly, a very cheap way to play Warhammer. Just use nickels.
Yeah, you don't need to buy the models.
Just use the nickels.
You've got the free core rules, and then use some nickels. Well, overall, though, I think it went really well. I think we had a very, very good, very positive first session. The two kids, and the one that's a little younger than Drake, I was a little worried it would be too much for him, but he seemed to do pretty well. Mm-hmm. And then the one that's about Drake's age was pretty into it. And so I think that overall it was successful. I'm sure we'll continue to do it from time to time as they, have time and want to come over and play. And so that it's just been a good experience that this is how we can introduce people to Warhammer. Now, is everybody going to love Warhammer?
No.
And I think that actually the worst thing you can do, and this is a mistake I've made a number of times, especially with board gaming, is to be pushy, right? If somebody's not super into it, don't try to convince them and say, hey, you should do it. Hey, you got to do it. This will be so cool. And then sort of reluctantly they get it because they're just not in the right mindset. They're not ready to have fun. It can be the funnest game in the world. They're not going to appreciate it. So you got to make sure it's something that they're at least halfway interested in. And then you can nudge a little. You can play it up a little. But if they're already on the side, don't beg and badger because it's only going to poison the well further and make it
poison the well?
Poison the well means
make it go worse?
Yeah, it means like if you have wells where you get water, right? Mm-hmm. If you poison the well, then none of the water that comes out is good. So it's like saying I make the whole idea of Warhammer so unappealing that they never want to play ever again.
It's actually poisoning the springs that Dawnbringer Crusades rely on is one of the Grin and Blade's favorite tactics.
It is one of their tactics. So that's something we'll be talking about probably in the near future is some of the new War 3.0 Battle Tome stuff. But until then, I want to encourage everybody, if you've got some friends that are halfway interested, take it slow, don't crush them, and you might have a gaming partner for the foreseeable future.
But don't give them stuff like...
Yeah, don't make them feel like you're being too easy on them or they're not getting anything because that can also be sort of demoralizing to some people.
Yeah. Don't go too soft on the new player, but don't go too hard in the middle.
Yeah.
On the player. You want right here where my head is.
Right in the middle there. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. This has been Battle Ready.
Wow.